Hey, what's up everyone? Saintsfan back again with another GTA 5 video, and today I'm going to go ahead and call Moore's Mutual so I have all my cars, but today I want to do a review on the vehicles that are in this DLC, because there are a decent amount. I think there's like 11 or so, and some of them are good, but some of them are not so good, and the ones that aren't so good cost a ton of money. So hopefully this video serves its purpose to inform you guys of basically what you should know before you buy some of these vehicles. And we'll be going through all the planes and the two cars, and hopefully by the end of it you sort of know what is good, what you should spend your money on, and if you should buy it. So these are in no particular order, but we're gonna go ahead and start with the Havok here. Now, this little plane is actually $2.3 million. Now, for some of these, you can actually get them cheaper if you do a certain amount of missions, like a certain amount of missions that came with this DLC. So, you can get them for a cheaper price. I'm not going to be talking about the price. I'm talking about the base price that you can just buy it now for. And this one is $2.3 million. And the only sort of thing you can get on this is the little machine gun, which is not even explosive. So it's not even that good of a machine gun. So really, when it comes to like killing, it's gonna be very difficult to take someone out with this. Now you can see it is very fast. It is a lot faster, maybe not a lot faster, but it is a decent amount faster than the Buzzard. So if you like speed when it comes to helicopters, then this is gonna be something you're gonna want. It obviously has the flares, although I just have the smoke because I didn't buy the flares on this one. And the customization is decent. The liveries aren't anything too special, but it's not horrible. But honestly, for that $2.3 million price tag, I would say not to buy this. Although I will say, if we go down here and we get out and hopefully not die, the one benefit of owning a Havok, if we are a CEO, we can go to our CEO vehicle option and boom, we can call in right there the Havok like we can the Buzzard. So I'm going to go ahead and call the Havok, and then boom, it spawns right behind me like, the Buzzard would. So that is really the only redeeming quality to me about this. But if you have the Buzzard, I just don't see why this is really necessary, because again, well, this one I'm just noticing doesn't even have a minigun on it, so it's kind of pointless. So that's the Havok. I would say don't buy it unless you have millions upon millions of dollars. Next one, the Ultralight. This one is coming in at 615,000, so it's really, really cheap. And if you upgrade it, it's actually pretty damn fast. Like stock, it's very slow, very not fun to fly around. But when you do upgrade it, it's actually pretty cool. And for the $600,000 price tag, I would say this is totally worth it. I mean, you are sort of at a disadvantage against all the other aircraft that is, now in the game. But the one thing that just makes this aircraft awesome, there's an attachment that you put on the back, I guess, and when you're just gliding like we are now, you don't show up on the radar. You can see at the bottom left on the radar, my guy is blinking, and what that means is that we're not on the radar. Now, we are pretty obvious out in the sky, so I'm sure people flying around you, despite you not being on the radar, they can still see you and kill you. But it's very, very good to have that feature. And this does have flares. I don't have them purchased, but it does have flares. And it does have a gun, which if I hit X, we can now kill people. And, depending on, I guess, depending on your skill level, your accuracy, your aim, you can pretty much just sort of hover, like glide, and then take people out, maybe without them even knowing. So this, I would say, for the 600,000 price tag is a must buy just because of that feature. It's the only vehicle in the game that you can go off the radar in by itself without calling someone else. So this one I give a thumbs up too. And I do want to say quickly, the customization is pretty good. I mean, like they have some pretty decent liveries for this plane. Next one we're going to take a look at is the Alpha Z1. Now this one is coming in at $2.1 million. But honestly, if you like flying, this is a good purchase. If you don't like flying, just flying as is, not like killing people and blowing people up, this might not be the plane for you. But if you like flying, look how fast this thing is. This thing is insanely fast. You can add flares to it, so you don't have to worry about people shooting you with homing launchers. And it's super easy to handle if you're good. And it's a blast to just fly around in and sort of troll other people because you're super quick. So, you know, most of the planes can't really catch up to you. And honestly, I mean, while the price tag is a lot, I think it's somewhat justified. So this one is kind of nice. And one thing, and it's hard to really demonstrate right now, but this thing has an insanely bright light on it. So at nighttime, if you have trouble seeing, this is definitely going to be a plane you want because it freaking lights up the entire like mountainside. So 2.1, I would say if you like flying, get it. If you don't like flying, then don't waste your money. Next up, we have the Tula. This is the most expensive plane yet, coming in at $5.1 million. Now, even though it costs a lot, it has a decent amount of options to it. So it's got the VTOL capabilities, which we can go straight up if we want to, you know, like the Hydra. And it's kind of cool to, you know, sort of just fly around like this. We could take off with the Jado or Jetto, whatever this is. It's the rocket boost. So basically, if you want a fast sort of liftoff, there you go. That's kind of a cool feature, although that is something you're gonna have to pay extra for. There is the bombing bay on it, so you know you can open up the bottom down there and bomb people if you want. One thing I did find is that even if two of the engines go out, you can fly this fairly easily. You know, so you're not gonna die instantly. It does have some decent armor. It holds 5 people, so that's a plus. It has the minigun on the back there, which is a pretty powerful minigun. It's not explosive, but it's fairly good. And if you have, you know, friends or whatever, then they can get in the back. The one downside to this, and this is almost why I would say it's not worth it, you kind of need a co-pilot to run or to use this aircraft to its best ability. Because if we go into the vehicle option, I think you can see vehicle bomb bay control and vehicle countermeasure control. You can have it set to pilot or co-pilot. And what ends up happening with this one, since there's so many features on it, if we hit right on the D-pad, you can see that actually opens up our bomb bay. So then we can drop bombs from it. But if we tap right, that actually makes it go into VTOL capabilities. So the flare option, it's kind of confusing, and I don't really like this aircraft because of that. Because if you want to call the flares, like if you have people shooting at you and you want to use the flares, then you got to come into here, and then I think what you have to do is switch one of these options to the co-pilot so they can use the flares. But if you don't have a co-pilot, this thing is worthless. I mean, it does go on water, so that's another benefit. You can land it on the ocean, but for $5.1 million, I would say do not buy this. It's going to be one of those vehicles that you get excited for because you're like, oh my god, it has VTOL capabilities, it's got some cool features, but in a week you're going to end up not using it. And plus, well, I just died, but there's a bunch of other planes coming out and a bunch of other aircraft that I think are going to be much better. So I would definitely suggest saving your money for them. Moving down the list, we have the Molotok, and this one is the second most expensive so far, at least, and it's coming in at, I think, $4.6 million. Let me go ahead and check real quick. 4.7 or 4.8 basically million dollars, so quite a bit of money. Now this one, I would say, if you like to cause chaos, is a fun plane to own. It's basically the Hydra, but you don't have explosive cannons, which I know that's like a big part of the Hydra. But see, what you can actually get on this one is the flares. So while, you know, you can't maybe explode people with your minigun, it's just regular old minigun, if people are coming after you, then you can easily flare to have their missiles not kill you. And it's fairly, you know, fun to fly. It's very fast. It's not as fast as like the Alpha Z1, but it is pretty quick. I don't know like if anyone's done a speed test on it versus the Hydra. It kind of feels a little bit faster than the Hydra. It does not have the VTOL capabilities though. I personally though love the looks of it. I mean, this livery is amazing. The customization is pretty good. Although I will say, if you do buy this, do not buy the drop tank like I did. It's a waste of money. They don't do anything. It's just cosmetic. The final thing I'll say on this is that the missiles, you can pretty much shoot them fairly quickly in succession, and it doesn't seem like there is a limit, because I have tested this. I have shot so many missiles, and I still have had some, so I would say this one is a fairly decent pickup. I mean, for 4.7 million, that is a lot of money. However, you do get a pretty good plane out of it, and even out of the ones that are unreleased, I would say this might be one of the better planes to sort of fight in. Now, quickly getting through the last two, because I don't want this video to be super long, we have the Western Rogue. Now, this one is like the World War II plane, and it's only $1.5 million. This is like the steal of the DLC for me, at least so far. This thing is amazing. It may not be the fastest. It may take some time to get off the ground, but once you get going, it's fast enough, you know, and you can equip the flares on it, although I don't actually have them. This one does have the cargo bomb, or the cluster bomb capabilities, so that's cool. It's got explosive cannons on it, which is one of the best parts about this. So if you know, are into blowing people up, then that's going to be something you're going to like. It does have missiles, although I haven't actually tested. So these you can't shoot as quick, and you can see you have to wait before you can sort of shoot them again. So it's not like so it's not like the Molotok like we just showed, where you can spam them. But again, this one has the explosive cannon, which just tears people up. And I love the customization of this one. It's got some really great customization. The one downside, you can see the handling is very odd. This is the only negative I have to it. I did upgrade the handling to the race handling, so maybe that's the problem. But it just takes some time getting used to, because like I'm just tapping RB and LB and it's going all over the place. So yeah, I don't know what that's about. That's the only negative, but for 1.5 million, you can't beat it. The explosive cannons, the regular missiles, the fact that it's like a World War II looking plane, there's some awesome liveries for it. It sounds really cool. I would say this is a pretty solid purchase. And another thing I forgot to mention, it does have 2 seats, so you can have someone sitting in the back, although I'm pretty sure they can't really do much back there. And then the final plane, before we hop into the 2 cars, we have this one, the Starling, with the unicorn livery. It's got some pretty good liveries. I will say that the customization is pretty good. This one is coming in at 3.6 million, and this is one of the ones that you're just gonna have to think to yourself, do I want this or do I not? Because for 3.6 million, that's a lot of money. One, you get a pretty decent plane. You can see the way it works is it uses this rocket boost, and we have the yellow bar down by our mini map, and that it takes a decent amount of time to, you know, deplete, and it does replenish over time. It is fairly fast, and you can get, you know, straight up in the air very quickly, so you can outrun people. It can, you know, get flares or whatever, so you don't need to worry about people shooting you with homing launchers. It does have missiles, which we can somewhat spam. It's not as fast, I don't think, as the other one, but it's pretty quick. And this one, honestly, might be the best, in my opinion, for the bombing runs, because you can get up high, you can get up to places quick, and then you can just do the bombing run while your yellow bar down there replenishes. So it's kind of cool, although it's a freaking pain to land. This thing, I've crashed so many times trying to land it, because it's just very awkward. However, with that being said, for $3.6 million, I would say this one is a decent one to buy. Like, if you have a lot of money, then it's not, like, I don't think you'll waste your money, like maybe the Tula, because I do see people using this for a decent amount of time, because it is so unique. So for that $3 million price tag, 3.6 million, I would say this is along the lines of the Rocket Voltic in terms of comparing it to the Ruiner 2000, in that the Rocket Voltic, if you think about it, it's kind of useless because it's just a car with a rocket on the back, but it's a freaking car with a rocket on the back, and that's basically what this is. This is a plane with the rocket on the back, so it's kind of nice. And I always mess this up, man. It's 3 times this video. But moving into the cars, we have the Vision and we have the Vapid Retinue. I don't know how to say that. The new supercar, the Vision, is $2.2 million, and I would say it's worth it. Is it the best in terms of performance? I actually don't know. I did some very loose testing, like nothing too crazy at all, and it did pretty good. Like, I like the way it handled. I like the way it performed against some of the other cars. It's very good in acceleration, despite it not being four-wheel drive, and the top speed was pretty decent. So I really like the way it handled. I love the customization, and I love the way it looks. The liveries are kind of lacking, I will say, but all the other stuff is very good. And for the $2.2 million price tag, I know we just had like a bunch of supercars just come out that were really good, but this one, I don't think you'll be wasting your money if you do end up purchasing it. And then the other one, the Vapid Retinue, that one is, I think, $600,000, so it's not too bad in terms of pricing. And, you know, it's not a bad rally car if you're into that sort of thing. If you're not into that, then I would say just don't buy it, because it's going to be one of the cars that you just stick in your garage and then never use again. It's got some pretty good customization. The performance is fairly decent. Like, it does compare against some of the other rally cars, like the Tropos Rally and the Omnis Obey, or the Obey Omnis. So it does compare, and it does handle well against those, but it's you know, it's just one of those cars that, since it's not a super or a sport car, you're going to not find yourself using it very often, unless you're, you know, super into those types of cars. But that is it. That is the review on all of the cars and aircraft in the game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you think about the specific cars and aircraft. But anyway, that is it. Thank you all. Please drop the video a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more awesome GTA content. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.